It was fun while it lasted, but Tank Davis has done it again. Stopped Rolly Romero in round number 6, TKO. It was fun. It was the fun night. I mean, we were waiting and waiting and waiting on the edge of our seats, waiting for one of these big punchers to throw a big punch, to connect, to land, and to ultimately do damage and ultimately stop one of these guys. And that's what happened tonight. We got Tank Davis, who got Rolly, caught Rolly, great shot. Rolly was done for. At first, I thought it was a bad stoppage because it seemed like Rolly was up and fairly alert. I know he was a little dazed, a little dizzy, but I thought he was fairly alert. And then ultimately, Rolly was stopped. Referee David Field stopped the fight. And I saw Rolly walking back. Rolly wasn't very steady on his feet, so it was a good stoppage. Tank Davis has done it again. Not surprising. I mean, we're not shocked, surprised by this outcome. Everyone expected Tank Davis to stop Rolly Romero. It was just a matter of when, where, how. I mean, it just wasn't. This is not. The result is not unexpected. Rolly was competitive for as long as the fight lasted. Rolly clearly was the bigger man. But Tank clearly was the bigger puncher. I thought Rolly had Tank hurt maybe a little in that second round, but it wasn't, both of these guys are power punchers, and both of these guys obviously don't throw a lot. The activity level of both of these guys is not very high, but at the end of the day, Tank Davis connected, and Tank Davis got the job done. Look, Barclays Center, darn near sellout out there. It was a huge crowd. Madonna was in the building. Tracy Morgan was in the building. Michael Strahan was in the building. Tank Davis is box office. And at this point, this was Tank Davis's last fight with Mayweather Promotions. So, I mean, obviously, he's probably still going to stay without Heyman. But at this point, he has flexibility. Tank Davis has flexibility, right? He can decide, what kind of fight he wants to take, where he wants to take it. Look, he's box office. He doesn't have to take a type of deal that Devin Haney had to take in order to get George Kambosos. The reason Devin Haney had to take that particular fight, and with the terms that he had to take, was because the reality is Devin Haney is not box office the way Tank Davis is box office, so he had to take that particular fight with those particular terms, where you got to go to Australia if you win once, and then you got to go back to Australia for the rematch. So it's definitely a situation. Tank Davis has flexibility, so he can decide what he wants to do, where he wants to go, and how he wants to do it, right? Tank Davis has flexibility. He's box office. He's A-side in a lot of fights at between 130 and 135. He can even go up to 140. Tank Davis is, one of the cash cows in boxing, one of the big names in boxing. He's not Canelo, but he's right there. Tank Davis, sold out in Baltimore, big numbers in Atlanta, big numbers in California, big numbers at Barclays Center tonight. That place was jumping, that place was packed, and it's all because of Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, it's time to a degree to take the training wheels off this guy. It's time for him to start fighting some of the big names. Now, with him not being with Mayweather Promotions, he's still without Heyman, right? So he's still, probably going to be tied to Showtime, probably going to be tied to Fox, BBC, all that, if Fox and the BBC are still together. We don't know about that, but it appears that's done as well. But he's probably going to probably still be tied to BBC and tied to Showtime. So, but I don't know, what fights can be made that are exciting on the PBC side? Not many, if any, really, at this point. So, and look, say what you will about Rolly Romero, he sold this fight. Rolly sold this fight. Sold it at the press conferences. He sold it. Rolly did his job. He did his job, and it's one of the reasons this fight was sold. Rolly clearly, in terms of talent, doesn't have the talent of Tank Davis. Rolly clearly, none of us expected Rolly to win tonight. But Rolly is charismatic. Rolly is funny. He says some dumb stuff, but he says some crazy stuff, a little stupid stuff. But at the end of the day, it's funny. It's interesting. It resonates with people, and so Rolly helped sell this fight. And so give Rolly credit for doing that. He sold the fight. He did his job. Rolly did his job tonight. He sold the fight. He was a perfect B-side. Perfect B-side. And at the end of the day, made Tank look good. And this is what Tank does. He knocks people out.